Hello, Armchair Warriors. Tom here, playing as Japan in Hearts of Iron 3 using the Black Ice modification 11.3.4. And yes, I know I need to really get on the ball here and get the latest and greatest version of that. I think we're up to 11.3.5 at this point right now. But I will do that shortly after we start our war with America. I don't want to, in case there's any issues, I don't want to mess up what's coming. Speaking of coming, we see we're in October, late October right now. December 7th kicks off war with America uh, because of an event we get, which actually, if we can look it up here, we can see Operation Z. It's got to be December 7th, 1941, before we kick that off, and you can see the specifics that happens there. That also, once we have Operation Z selected, I think we also get Tora, which gives us some additional cool benefits as well. We'll take a look at all those in greater detail. Um, you know, I need Bangkok. That's right. That's the border garrisons from Manchukuo happens after December 7th. Because I'll get. Oh wait, Bangkok must be controlled. Well, that's Saigon. So yeah, so that's December 7th then, because Bangkok is Siam. Um, anyway, we've got some stuff happening pretty soon here. Uh, and to get preparation for that, I did spend some off camera time, in getting my leaders all straightened out. Because if we take a look, I'll show you the taking a little while here to load up. We had a whole bunch of, and these actually are just the few dozen and a half or so that I decided not to use or were saving for future units getting built. But I have a ton of units that were in the same sort of boat here, leaders rather, that were in the same sort of boat where the units were run by units that had so many different cool cool things to them. We can take a look. I actually did a little bit of transferring leaders around, so that way I could put some pretty decent leaders in charge of headquarter units that can then disperse their abilities to everybody under them. So where I had a pretty decent leader anyway in Kwantung Theater headquarters. He only had about, I forget who it was. I had probably Tojo, had 4 or 5 or 6 special abilities, but I mean, this guy, he's a logistics genius. And the funny thing is, I have, these are only just a few, I have several logistic geniuses among my leaders. So I'm thinking the long war that we had to sustain in China definitely bred some stronger leaders overall, especially having to deal with all of the all of the poor supply issues that we were suffering under. The just getting that logistics genius. Several of my leaders were just like, "Yep, we're badasses now." I actually had I thought skill level 5 was the highest you could potentially get to, and I'm trying to find. I had some higher skill. I actually had a skill level 7 general. I'm trying to find him now, but I don't see him. Yeah, I'm just seeing skill level 5 and stuff. I had a skill level 7 general that I had seen, or two, a couple of 6s. There were so many leaders I had that just had so many skills associated with them that I decided to go ahead and just filter them all through the headquarter, pull them off the actual units they were on, the divisions they were on, and put them on the some higher level headquarter units that would be involved in battles and stuff like that. For example, truck headquarter unit. Yeah, he's a skill 6 leader, and you can see what all he has. I put him here. I think because he's a Marine Master, we've been doing with a bunch of amphibious assaults down here, and also, I mean, not that I had to, pull one of my rare logistics geniuses to put him in charge here, but hey, down here in the islands, we definitely need a logistics genius. That's for sure. I think I have Yamashita here. Here we go, Yamashita. He's a skill 7. Not that many in the way of actual traits that he has available here, but he wasn't he was no slouch, I will say. And I think I have a skill level 6 Marine leader here. He's the guy that's actually can take care of all my Marines. I don't have any, I guess Marine Genius, whatever the next level is above Marine, but I have a lot of Marine Masters. The funny thing is, I have a bunch of Marine Masters and Marines, period, for units all up and down the board. So it's got to be because of the fact that I had a bunch of units that were attacking across rivers that, for so long that just their leaders naturally gleaned some better information on how to. Ooh, we are moving all over the place here. How to attack across river. At least I'm betting that's the reason why they got Marine Master. But I went through off camera, reassigned all of my leaders to where they'd be better used, and also let's take a look here. The OOB kind of set things up a little bit better. Let me take a look at the theaters. I Yes, that's right. So I do have 3 distinct theaters overall here. One that's basically Japan and its primary holdings, being run by the Diane. This guy, not the best of my leaders, yeah, skill level 0. But nonetheless, I figured I would at least set this up for just defensive purposes, all around the Japanese homeland and its associated islands. The second theater war that we have is the Kwantung Theater, and that used to be just strictly China and South Korea, or Korea as a whole. But now it's kind of filtered down into the Southeast Asian area here too. Once we get attacking Malaya, Burma, India, etc., it's going to grow pretty far. Here, Xinjiang, it's part of that Kwantung theater. And then our third theater is the South Pacific, and that's being run by General Saito. Basically, all the islands here, and I think I'll have to make sure that the Dutch East Indies. Well, I don't know. Kwantung might be fighting for the Dutch East Indies, but basically the Southeast Pacific will be all the islands out here, probably from the Philippines eastward, including Australia and New Zealand. That's what this area will be controlling when all said and done. Not a big deal. Not planning with my expertise in utilizing AI. I say sarcastically. I don't plan on enabling AI to be doing anything. My experience with my what I did earlier episodes ago. Not quite happy with what the AI does in holding down areas. Mainly, I was looking at maybe making a theater for China, Manchuria, this area here, and just kind of let the AI handle the defense. I just didn't like how it how it approached as such, including the Japanese only. I didn't like how it approached it, in all honesty. So I was like, yeah, I'll just have to race around all over the place. But I think I didn't show you the breakdown here of the units. South Pacific, I made sure that I assigned the specific units to it that we're going to be operating in that theater. And among that, you can see our airborne. They'll definitely be operating mostly in the Southeast Asia. Again, the Palembang. They'll have a landing or air landing there. That could be Kwantung Theater, but nonetheless, I'll be using the airborne more than likely in this region, the Southeast Pacific region, than any campaigns I've got going on here. Largely because there's not that many airfields all throughout here that provide any sort of you know jumping off points for our airborne. By the time I would get an air base, the front's already moved on. But here on the islands, it could definitely be helpful. For example, here in this section, to just get my airborne units here and then drop them behind the enemy line somewhere is taking a port, city to allow me to send in some troops, or vital air base, something along those lines. And of course, also our Marines, the whole entire Marine setup. They're going to be, for the most part, 95% of their work is all going to be in the southeast, South Pacific region. They'll have some work in the Dutch East Indies for sure, and I may, depending upon how far into the war they'll be needed, I might transfer them over to Kwantong for work in India, but we'll see on that. That's future. But yeah, I kind of set up my troops appropriately. Largely, it's just garrison units here. That's all it's here for the South Pacific headquarters. For the Kwangtung Theater, which they're now set up, whatever this island is called for China here, they're set up here to basically control, or to not control, but just basically to handle operations in China, Korea, but largely Southeast Asia. Once I said the ball gets rolling in Malaya and Burma, this is where the bulk of my army will be needed, and thus that's what we have set up here. The bulk of our army. I've several headquarter units underneath the Kwantong Theater headquarter, each with their own, units galore underneath them. Um, yeah, you can see all the different unit structure hierarchy we have here. Majority of those units are here. You can see we got almost 100 total units sitting here, just kind of waiting to be dispersed. And we're going to get to that possibly this episode. Actually, probably this episode. We'll start dispersing those units to where they need to go. But also I did a little reorganization. For example, let me pull one of my. So like, all my core headquarters, I just made sure I kind of staffed them out with units that were fairly understandable, why they would have these kind of units, where they're going to be used. Like this type of headquarter unit here, I could see them being used in Philippines, Malaya, that kind of area. Same here, Burma, definitely, just because they have Cav. I have one headquarter unit. Um, Strictly, all they have is just armor. Uh, Granted, they're kind of pinned to a slower moving headquarter unit, but that's okay. I mean, the headquarter unit being continuous movement the whole entire time while my guys travel forward. But almost the great majority of my tank units, I kind of beefed up a bit. We can take a bit of a closer look at some of them. Like this guy, he needs a little bit of loving, but I've got 6 armor units total at this point. I've had to do a little bit of beefing up on most of them. Like here, this guy, light armor battalion, 3 infantry tank on there, plus also engineer, I believe, just to kind of help them out a little bit. This guy, I threw a whole bunch of stuff on here. It's basically a light armor battalion, but gave him some additional support units to strengthen him, stiffen his resolve. He kind of needs some help still. Same type of guy here as the other one I showed you. So my tanks will help beef up a little bit with some freebie units I had gotten episode or 2 ago when I was going around and strengthening all my garrisons here and dropping off, some of those extra units, extra battalions and regiments I'd gotten. So I think at this point we're fairly ready to start dispersing, getting our units ready. We still got another month and a half before war with America, but in that month and a half, I do need to make sure that my air units are redeployed appropriately. And I think for the most part, we were getting that way. Yeah, I've got my bombers already pretty much sent out to where they need to be. I need to get the rest done because when you do redeploy, and I think, yeah, I was in the middle of doing the redeployment in in between episodes here. I was sending all my bomber units down here in Southeast Asia to kind of get ready. When you do redeploy, you lose some of your organization. Of course, we redid all of our generals, all of our leaders were redone. So when you do that, you just take a huge organization hit anyway. I always make sure that I do that early enough so that way by the time December 7th comes around, we are fully reorged. There's no questions on what we're doing there. So for this episode here, and I know I've already talked about a third of the way through here what I did off camera. We are now going to take care of further disposition of our forces, again, areas and things of that kind of nature. I did move some fighters down here as well, did I not? Yeah, one group of fighters. I thought I had a second group, but I guess not. Yeah, I think because these guys have leaders with them, their range isn't as good as, just slightly worse. I think I was just going to be using the fighters though for these two fighters for defense in my forward bases. So, namely here, not that I don't think that the Americans will deal or will send any carry units out there to cause any harm, but I just want to make sure that we are okay. And I want to say here is the next. There we go. The next place. That way, 271-kilometer range. That puts us to not quite all my islands. Yeah, these two islands here are just too far away for defense. That one's too far away as well. But probably in this area here, it's a pretty good umbrella of fighter cover. I'm going to have a carrier group stationed down here to help out anyway. But I want to have the fighters around to ensure that we are not having to worry about any American carrier showing up and raining on my parade. We're putting our naval bombers on forward bases as well. Again, just to make sure that we can provide some umbrella coverage against any enemy naval units that might decide to show up. There we go. So this island and over here, I've gotten. I think I want to set them here. That way it's here, here, and here. So that should give me about probably enough. We got range 770. So yeah, from here, and basically we're looking at just huge. Excuse me, huge area here, here, yeah, all the way out to the Wake Island, and from this island, we can get out to Wake as well. So yeah, we got plenty of coverage, and I got a fourth one getting built here. That once it is finished, I'll put on truck, so that way you can cover this southern island group effectively. So I think that's going to be pretty much all my air. Let me double check just to make sure here. Any of the twos, that's just CAG, so we don't need to worry about that. And that 3, we're waiting for the other naval bomber to be built, which actually it's not going to be until June next year. So wow, that might be a bit too late for stuff. There. Oh yeah, let's let this tick up a little bit, and I want to save the game real quick. Since it's my first save since I started. Since I've had that one crash a few episodes ago, the interrupted episode actually, what I'm going to start doing is just playing through an episode, make sure I save fairly often enough, at least, about every week thereabouts, especially once I get into war with America. That's going to be very frequent saving. And then as I finish each episode, I'll exit out of the game and then restart it for the next episode, so I have a clean game start at that point. Next thing we need to worry about, I've got 33 sub and raider fleets that need to get put out. I think for the most part, these guys, we got to wait. Oh, wait a second. I think I'm doing it wrong. Actually, they can wait. Our naval units, they won't take that long. Neither were the air, but I want to redeploy the air so they have time to regain their organization in their new home. And also, like, if the AI decides that, hey, we got to get supplies to one of those islands fairly quickly, that can be taken care of. And that does remind me, I need to, in preparation of war coming, I need to push up my convoy and escort builds here so we can get at least a round of convoys built up. What is that? 10. So is it 4 convoys per or something? I don't know. But anyway, I used to have 4 rounds of convoy ships getting built here before we go to war, just before we go to war with America. The escorts will be coming the month after we go to war. So much stuff that I would love to have built by now. Pretty much everything that's in this portion of the list, I would like to also have built now. And there's even more stuff that I want to um, still put on here. There's like two more carrier groups I want to put on here, and my Mountaineer. I don't have my Mountaineer troops in here yet. Not that it's terribly needed at this point, but I think it's going to take a while to get our mountain infantry built. Yeah, almost a good 8 months before they're built. So it won't be until they won't be seeing the Burmese campaign until late in 1942, which that's fine. The You can see there's plenty of mountains to deal with in Burma. Burma we're going to be stuck in with for not as long as China, but it's not going to be a quick campaign. It might take about a year before we're through Burma and into India, just because of how sluggish the overall terrain is here. And even a bunch of mountains still in India as well that we got to deal with. But future, let's stay with the present. So move my air so that we can get reorged. Navy, I don't need to worry about quite so much, mainly because we need to make sure they get the organization up before I start redeploying them. But also, there's no need to redeploy, say, like, a carrier group. 3,400 kilometers, that puts me almost out to just outside, halfway, less than halfway between Midway and Hawaii. So my carriers won't need to redeploy at all. Those are my light carriers. How about my regular carriers? 4,300 kilometers. So they can go just outside Hawaii, actually. So my carriers, for the most part, they're able to cover Midway, Johnson Atoll, but they won't be able to get the islands here, nor the islands down here. So any movement down in the south here, I would have to redeploy my carriers so they can reach that far. But for the most part, my initial objectives, Wake, Philippines, Guam, don't need to redeploy any of my fleets for that. Midway, my carriers will be able to reach just fine. 1,400 kilometers is the furthest, so I would need to redeploy. Yeah, I would need to redeploy my main ships. I think that might be my destroyer range is 1,400 kilometers. I'm not sure. So there's going to be some ship redeployment, but fortunately, ship redeployment doesn't mess up with your organization. I can redeploy those later. Subs, I will need to redeploy sometime mid-November so they can get to their new base, and from there, once I've redeployed them, then I can go ahead and send them out to where they need to go and be in place by December 7th to start sinking enemy convoys. So those are later, but some of the next things that will need to get redeployed. I might as well move. I had moved all my land units up here to kind of get them out of the way, so I'd have a better idea of what needs to go where. But I do need to start redeploying my infantry because they're going to be sent to different locations depending upon what type of unit what kind of units they are. Let's put these guys that don't have any units just yet elsewhere. I think he is just going to stay behind because he doesn't have a full unit yet. Now, wait a second. I just saw that he was pulling somebody else here. That's not that guy. Oh, that's this guy. Okay, so yeah, he needs to stay there, and he needs to stay there. Okay, so the 11th doesn't have a full, just only has 4 units in it. The other one just has the one, technically. Okay. Got to keep a closer eye on what all is where. Not what I wanted to do. Fortunately, but it's overseas. If I'm telling the whole entire group to move to a location, the overseas guys will be like, "No, we can't do that because we got water between us. So we'll keep moving where you told us to move anyway." Same with that situation there. They've got some cav units that are fighting over in Xinjiang. A lot of these units, a lot of these groupings. I'm planning on when I attack the Philippines. We're going to be attacking in 2 points up north here. This area, we one marine landing, and once we take this port, that's when I'll ship in some units there. And the other marine landing will be here. Once I take this port, we'll ship in some units there. And then down south here, attacking down in this area. Once I take one of these ports, wherever we do take, prefer to take Davao, just because it's got a air base too. That's when we'll ship in another group there. So I'll have 15 total divisions here in the Philippines, 3 down the south. They'll be tasked to take all of the southern portions here. There's not that many victory point locations, honestly. Well, as I say that, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus that one out there is 5. But I think for the most part, yeah, these are all just 1 point victory point locations. Up here, there's a 3-pointer for Manila, a 3-pointer for Clark Field, and these are all 1 points up here. I think for the most part, so long as I take this, everything up north, and then maybe one of these, that's it. The Philippines rolls over. So the units will have tasks for down south here. They've got a lot of area to cover, but they only have maybe 2 victory point locations they got to go for. Up north, the 5 and 5, respectively, divisions are going to land in the north and northwest points. They're going to have to deal with fighting the majority of the Philippine and American forces up here, and then also take the bigger prizes of Clark Field and Manila, along with the other victory point locations. But there's going to be at least 15 divisions I'm going to be sending there. 15 out of the 100 that I've got. Yeah, it's more like 85, I think, just because, or maybe even 75, based upon all the headquarter units that I've got involved up here. The other 60, 70 or so, they're going to get filtered into for the war in Burma, Malaya, Dutch East Indies, assisting in fighting in the islands, or I say the islands, but the UK Australian held possessions here that are fairly good size that I don't want to task a Marine to land and then move in and try to take. The Marines I want to use for the most part on the Pacific Islands, where there's just one place for them to go and take, and that's it. When it comes time for New Zealand, Australia down the road, I'll have at least 5 to 10 divisions for New Zealand as Marines take landing points, ship in units, divisions to kind of race around and take its victory point locations. Australia is in my experience, has been kind of an easier nut to crack. I just need to have Marines take and land on the victory point locations on the east side. Sydney and Brisbane, you could see, are worth 3 and 2 points respectively. Melbourne 2 as well. Adelaide 2. There's enough victory point locations all along the east coast of Australia here. I think that I don't need to worry about the western points here, and Darwin for that matter. I don't need to worry about these victory point locations. Take these, and Australia surrenders. But my Marines can handle Australia on its own pretty much. I'll probably still also have a 5 to 10 divisions handling that as well. So all the units I'm kind of moving here are getting ready to get picked up by our passenger liners. That in turn will then get moved around. In fact, do I need to bring him back? I don't know. They'll all get shifted. The units will get shifted around to their staging points. Getting ready for the Philippines, I'll have a staging point here on Taiwan, another staging point down here for the southern attack on the Philippines. A bunch will be filtered here in French Indochina. Once we get Siam, I'll then use transports to kind of push them up quicker to their location, especially down here in south when we go attacking into Malaya. So that's why I'm going through all this right now to kind of get my units moved and ready for what's coming here, because it'll take some time. I'm not going to be having too many units in reserve either. I don't feel that I'll be able to nor needing to take on Russia for a while yet. And we're actually going to take a quick look as to see why that is here once I get this all under control. You can kind of see my disposition, unit disposition. There's some that are just, they are what they are kind of type deal. I think he's staying there, and he's staying there. Okay, so everybody that's kind of staying behind that's it. Yep. Tropical Island garrisons. I could probably task of 5. They can carry 712. How much do these guys weigh? 81. Okay, so let me retask him there. Him, I need to rebase here because I need at least 4, because we need to be carrying 4 groups at a time because we don't want to waste too much time shifting our troops around. Okay, so we've moved all our planes at this point that need to be moved. We do have some carrier planes up here that are waiting to, for their carriers to be built, and also reinforcements. I got to wait for the rest of my transports to be built, which that's very, very, very soon here. And then we'll probably redeploy then down here, so that way when we get Siam, I can. I think I was going to build the air base as soon as I possibly could, but that way they're restaged here, so they're close enough to whatever happens, whether the air base I build gets built or I capture, start the invasion of Malaya and capture these air bases here. We can get our transport planes into that airfield quickly. Transport planes move rather slow. Not that it takes them days to get anywhere, but from here to here, for example, that would take at least a few hours. I think it takes a couple hours for each province that a transport plane's going through, roughly, more or less. Coming from Japantown to here, sure, they could do that rebase, but that'll take them half a day, maybe even a full day to make that full transit over. So we want to make sure they get moved closer there. Our ships we're not going to worry about at this point in time. Like I said, subs mid-November, roughly just before the 14th. Here's when I'll restage all my subs and any of my raiders that are ready to get moved as well. All right, that pretty much all done. And we don't have anything else going on at this point here. I'm kind of catching up with what I did. We are just hovering around Xinjiang. We're moving our units out that need to be moved out. They're filtering down. It'll take the better part of the rest of this month and into next month to get down to here before they can rejoin their units. So let's kind of let things run a little bit here game-wise. See if we can't get a day under our belts. A day. See if we can't get a month under our belts. Here we can speed it up, in fact. Cool, lack of mud. Landing craft, excellent. A much needed thing as well. go. And I think we're going to create another landing craft fleet. Essentially, this is going to help me. All these landing craft that I'm building, I mean, sure, you could say, hey, you have all these auxiliary ships, auxiliary fleets that you've got. And yes, I could certainly use those. What's going to end up happening, I think I'm going to be combining. Yeah, I think I end up combining these auxiliary vessels together a bit. Um, definitely these guys get combined. Only because the weight of one of my Marines is 82. Technically, um, 40. Yeah, technically, like if I were to transport one of my heavier Marines on this group here, and I say heavier Marines, I do have lighter Marines. Or are they all 82? Yeah, I thought I had some lighter ones. 39. Those can go on like this kind of group here. I lose a ship, each one carries 40. So I can lose a ship or even two with one of my lighter Marines that weighs 39, and it still arrived to where it needs to. But if there was carrying, say, my heavier Marine units that weighs 82, I lose a ship, I lose that Marine unit effectively. I think the heaviest, I don't know if it's the heaviest unit gets ganked out here, or they simply say, well, you lose your Marines, and then we keep the rest of the stuff there. That's been my experience at least. So I want to avoid that as much as possible, and as such, we're going to kind of combine our auxiliary ships since they don't carry all that much. Landing craft carry 300, so I could put one Marine on here, lose two ships, and still be okay. Even my heaviest Marine still be okay. That's landing craft just love because of that. Assault ships pretty decent. It's basically three of my long range auxiliary ships combined together. Um, so I'll have to kind of combine these a little bit more, so just to avoid any sort of issues that may arise if landings go awry, if it takes just too long to get stuck in there. I think I stopped research as well my last episode and kind of restarted that when I was in my in between, only because I wanted to make sure I get above 100% my officer ratio. I really hate getting too low. Now that we're not really having to deal with any kind of conflict. Xinjiang, of course, but that's kill new guys as they show up kind of type deal. Excuse me. The war coming with America, we're not really going to lose too much. That once we start really fighting the Philippines, yeah, we might start losing some officers. Once we go to war with the UK, though, the Malaysian, excuse me, Malaysian war and Burmese war, both of those are going to burn through my officers left and right. So we want to make sure that our officer ratio is decent enough so we don't have to deal with any penalties. Spotting, we can cancel that. It's 1943 tech. We're only in 1941. So a lot of the tech that I had kind of sitting and waiting, we're at least getting that done. Yeah, I'll let things keep going the way there. I do need to kind of set up my oh wow, super dry throat. I do apologize. We've got 188 ships sitting in this one fleet. I mean, that's a death stack from hell. That will make sure that we take Wake Island no problem. But I need to start breaking these up into their sorted fleets, but that can wait a little bit. We gotta keep an eye on Xinjiang. Okay, they're not building anything. Let's take a quick spin. It's been a bit. We want to see how things are going. Okay, yeah, this is better than I would expect, in all honesty. By this time, normally 1941, most of my games that I see, not, I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up, 50-50 that I see Italy kicked out of here or doing as well as they are right here in this area, and that's fine. Basically, that just ties up a lot of UK and South African troops down in this area. That's the best for them. This is about on par. Um, I don't know if we can say that this is they're meeting historical as well by this time of the year, but I mean This desert campaign was fairly ebby and flowy. Those aren't words, I know. It would ebb and flow back and forth. I think the Italians got all the way up to El Alamein. I don't recall though, but obviously they've got kicked back quite a ways here. The Italians will still keep pulling back. Their units aren't doing too bad. Well, that group, yeah, they're kind of weak. But I mean, you got some groups here. Their main force up there is not bad. They got some reinforcements. They pulling from the west. You can actually see them coming streaming this way, fresh, and actually some pretty. Those are decent Italian divisions right there. Yeah, these aren't going to be pushovers. A lot of motorized units coming in. Yeah, they got tons of motorized units flying on over. So they've got a bunch of Western reinforcements heading eastward at this point that are going to help assist them. I want to say that's a German unit right there. That one with the little symbol there, but I don't see. I don't see the guy there to show this expeditionary force or whatever. But anyway, that is North Africa in a nutshell. Nothing else going elsewhere is around here. I don't show any weird allied landings or weird Axis landings anywhere. Barbarossa, Finland joined the war a few episodes ago. Um, Finland's doing pretty well. They're moving into they regained their territory they lost to Russia in the Winter War, and they're at this point looking at gaining some additional territory. I'm not sure why these guys are kind of pulling back. Anyway, they'll do what they want. Overall, it's looking really good here. Leningrad, not quite cut off just yet. Leningrad is here. This province needs to be taken, and then Leningrad's cut off entirely. And that's a lot of units sitting in there. Holy cow. Mm, a lot of units all over. But you can see it's a pretty decent line. They're up to the Volga there, so good. How far are we from Moscow this time? So we're 200 kilometers, 215 kilometers. Yeah, 200 kilometers. So they're at the closest range, they're about 200 kilometers away. That's a lot of pillboxes forts they need to go through. Um, but yeah, Germany's doing pretty good. This is actually a lot of Italy's doing here in the central part. Germany, of course, is making the big push with some Italian help up north here. And then down in the southern reaches, we can see they're doing real well here. Romanian, Hungarian. I don't think Bulgaria's. Yeah, I don't see any. Well, yeah, that's a Bulgarian troop right there. Another Bulgarian troop. Yeah, some Bulgaria's actually helped join in as well. They push out of the Crimea and deep into not deep into oil-rich territory, but they're getting into oil-rich territory. This is Stalingrad here. 200 kilometers away from Stalingrad as well. Less than that. So before winter is upon us, the first few months of the invasion here, they've gotten within 200 kilometers of Moscow and Stalingrad. So that's really really good. I'm happy to see that. All right, before I call this, let's get to November 1st. I know I spent a lot of time, dishing out stuff here. We got $6,000. I don't want to spend anything just yet. Let's just do it for 3 months here. We'll see what we can get involved into a bit later. Just kind of keeping an eye here because as soon as I see a unit pop up, my cav will just pounce on him, kill him. Single engine fighter prototype. Oh, let me go through my tech real quick too to kind of get caught up here. So a lot of our nation tech is up to date, or being worked on to be up to date. Those type of techs that we really need. We're not even touching secret. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. So all of our techs that kind of help our leadership, our manpower, our industry, we're keeping up on top of. Our land forces, they're starting to kind of wane a bit. So our infantry tech is, anywhere from 1 to 2 years behind. Some is modern, but yeah, we're starting to kind of hurt in those areas. Yeah, I do need to start working on that. Artillery, yeah, kind of waning a bit too. Armor, I don't have the bandwidth to handle that at this point. Same with anti-tank. We did get jungle warfare equipment. I want to make sure that, we certainly got that, along with the amphibious warfare, though I think we start with amphibious warfare equipment. Um, I could actually, I needed 2 paratrooper activation just so that way I can build paratroopers. I don't think the 2 I have is going to be sufficient. Air, we are lagging far behind, I'm sad to say. I know we put a lot of emphasis toward our naval, but we've got to get air power up to snuff here. Let's throw all those into the mix here. Yeah, that puts us up in some deep leadership deficit there, but we've got to. Though, I mean, some areas I'm looking all right at. Yeah, our bombs are pretty much. We're not going to deal with tech here in jets. We're not going to worry about jet tech. Our while the actual plane models aren't the most up to date, um, the tech inside them is actually pretty decent, really good actually. So yay on that. Naval, yeah, subs are really hurting. We don't have modern subs at this point. Our lighter ships, destroyers on down, kind of a mixed bag here. Destroyers, yeah, we're looking pretty good, but our torpedo boats, we're not going to really rely on torpedo boats quite so much, but it'd be nice to have more modern looking ships. But our light ship tech isn't too bad. Transports, we're working on that because our Marines need that protection that all the amphibious ship improvements provide. We also need to be pushing, getting all these so we can push toward us, the assault ship flotillas, which will need a bunch of those as well too. Cruiser tech, cruiser and capital ship tech, thanks to a previous leader that we were using for the first 4 years of the game, I want to say. 36, 37, 38, 39. Yeah, I think it was 40 when we moved the carrier tech guy in, perhaps. We got a lot of our carrier tech maxed out, so this is not looking bad at all. I see one here that I need to get that, but yeah, overall this is looking really good. Capital ship tech, yeah, this is looking really sweet. Could use a little bit of loving in this field. Carrier tech, we're trying to play catch up, and in fact, I've got a lot of carrier tech pushed. I mean, not a lot, but I got several carrier techs pushed to the top, being researched on right now at this point. So soon this year or early next year, a lot of our carrier tech will be modernized. The problem is when we go to doctrines, yeah, we're woefully behind on a lot of our fleet doctrines. A lot of this stuff we just need to get caught up on. Air doctrines, yeah, same. In fact, I need to spend some points on getting those taken care of, because these are all CAG techs that need to be taken, because we need the CAG duty efficiency. Oh, good grief. I'm almost up to 100 techs here. All right. Our operating doctrines, that too is kind of a mixed bag. Some of it's fairly modern, some of it's woefully behind the times. The only special thing that Japan gets is the Type 93/95 torpedoes you see there. We use the Grand Battle Plan doctrine, and for the most part, we're modernized or maxed out to where we need to be. Other cases, we need some, artillery. We need help in. That's all right. Command. That's also kind of a mixed bag. Some areas we're really modern in, other areas, not quite so much. Though looking at it now, we don't need to worry about motorized headquarters. I don't need those. Um, we do need a marine headquarters just because that helps. The attack delay is great. Reduction is great, but I think once we learn this, I think that also gives something too. Not that I need more headquarter units, but I need that delay, attack delay reduced. And we could probably do the same thing with our mountaineers. There we go. Now I've got 100 projects. Nothing to be changed here in politics. I talked about the tech specialist in our science department. Now we're using the carrier guy. He's been helping us get up to snuff. So yeah, on that. Tojo is in charge of the army, and he's also chief of staff. I think we're switching off from our head of government here. Yeah, he's going to switch off to our old admiral, so we can get our naval organization plus 10%. If most of our ships are around 150 to 200 plus organizations, so I mean that's anywhere from 15 to 30 org points that need to be regained. So putting him in charge now will give sufficient time for that to be beefed back up. So I'm glad I looked at this here. I don't think we need to change anybody else here. I'm just going to keep him in charge. Then naval, naval focus as much as possible. The Ministry of the Interior, we're doing the science focus, so we get that extra leadership modifier. Everything else here is just as good as it can possibly get, and we can't get any better laws at this point in time. Our unity is too low. We're just 0.79 away from being able to get heavy industry emphasis. Once we get that, we'll get an additional 17 IC. That'll get us over 400 IC here. Not well, actually more than that. Or no, we're not putting any. There's no IC going towards consumer goods. So that 5% bonus for the consumer goods during wartime, that's not going to, that's not going to help us terribly. It'll help reduce overall dissent, if we get anything that pops up. Research efficiency is going to hurt though. IC efficiency we'll definitely need, so stuff gets built a little bit, well, not quicker, but just more stuff gets built at that point. Less ICs needed towards projects, or towards build projects. So that extra 3.5% might mean an extra unit gets built, extra ship maybe. I don't know. I think we've got everything else we could possibly do here. I know my manpower I'm kind of not stressing about anymore because I'm over 600 and I have everything in the queue that I need at this point other than my mountaineer troops, the 2 carrier groups, a few other odds and ends. Ships don't take much in the way of manpower. My carrier groups might take another 5-10 men. The mountaineer groups, that might be about 100, 150 men, maybe just 100. So that would be the biggest ding to my manpower side. But overall, we're just building ships. We're not worrying about manpower quite so much. I don't need to switch over to service by requirement, or what I would actually switch over to, the emergency conscription, because emergency conscription gives you much better manpower modifier than the service by requirement. But that's that. Let me save the game, and we're going to progress forward a little bit further, and I'll call it this. I know we're running pretty long at this point here, but I'm going to wait till the first. So when I start the next episode, we're going right away. Oh, cool. So we lost the effects of, slow. We lost the effects of outdated planes. So we must have researched some tech. I don't think it's going to be here anymore. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be here with outdated planes. There's certain text that I was missing that I got, which I don't know what it was because those are the only ones two new texts that I got. But anyway, so we're gaining some air org back. Yay. Civil defense, that's 43 tech. Destroyer crew training, we'll let that ride. So yeah, better repair rate, that's nice, and better destroyers overall. Exporter Chromite, no thank you. Coastal Submarine Class, that's 37 tech. I should push that to top, but that's Coastal Sub. I need it, but it's not urgent. Oh yes, and here is the transport planes that I was needing. So now at this point, with those transport planes, well, they're not going to be able to get transported just yet. Yeah, they need to be 95% of their maximum, which they're currently not. But anyway, we're just under 60. We're 59 point something or other, and we can carry 60 weight. They can't. I can't even check because they need their organization up to 95% as well too. And something I hadn't checked, which I'm playing a German campaign as well on the side, and I forgot to check. Specialized light infantry. I was able to buy some mercenaries playing as Germany. I meant to check to see if they could be transported. Probably not because their weight is just so great anyway. I don't think in the German campaign, I don't think I've got enough transport planes to even kind of take a look and see if that's possible. Yeah, but cool. So our transport planes got built. We don't need to move these guys just yet. We're going to wait till their organization goes up. I don't have anything in there anymore. Cool. Oh, and what's left here? Just want to make sure that what's left here is what should be here. Yeah. That's a garrison guy. So he can stay there. And he's staying here as well too. He's basically handling air duties in this area. And I kind of had also renamed. Did I have them here? Yeah, kind of renamed my headquarter units. These guys are all Southeast Asia, what they're handling. Do I have another Southeast Asian headquarter unit? And then here on truck, that's the South Pacific headquarters. Maybe they've already moved. I thought they were here. I'm looking and I don't see them off the top of my head. Oh, there we are. South Pac Fleet Command, South Pac Imperial Naval Base. These guys are going to come down here as well to truck, as a matter of fact, to provide some more that role play-ish command and control in their appropriate areas. Yep. Keeping an eye on here to make sure they don't build anything. Submarine AA, I think we'll let that go. Yeah, we need that improvement, and I need future improvements, but it's not the top priority. Medium air search radar, I think we can kill that project. No, looks like we can't. Yeah, looks like we can't. Cruiser, this one we can certainly kill. That's 1944 tech, so we don't need to worry about that. Like I said, cruiser tech. I have a mix of dated cruisers and brand new cruisers, but all their tech on them is brand spanking new. And light carrier class. This is good to see. Yeah, we're maxed out now on their light carrier class. HE ammunition. Yes, we can stop that one as well too. So good. We're researching some of our techs. Carriers looking better, a little bit better. I wonder what carrier class that actually produces for me now. Kazayari class. Not familiar with what that is. I need to wiki that. But Kazayari class. Let's see. These are fours. These are all Cheetos class. These are all fours. Those are all fours. Yeah, I think that is. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, I've got a 1 and 2 Hosho and Ryujo class. Well, it is what it is. Yeah, my light carriers, their model is definitely older. So any new one that I put in is going to be far more advanced model-wise than what I've got out there. So saving the game. I've talked enough. You guys have been very patient. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next episode. Bye.